This video could be criticised by hardcore classic fans, but I want to share this story nonetheless. I want to share my love of World of Warcraft when it was in its best, most purest form. When WoW held its greatest reign, I experienced it mostly in Burning Crusade and Wrath. But I still remember what vanilla was like. The year was 2006 and I was 5 years old at the time. That's right, 5. My knowledge of gaming up to that point was limited, and I really only played Spider-Man 2 and The Simpsons Hit and Run, which I played on my original Xbox with my cat George lying next to me. One morning I woke up. Well, naturally, I wasn't dead. And walked into my dad's office, and I saw him playing a game that I had never seen before. It immediately intrigued me. On the screen was a strange looking little man who was adventuring through a snowy and mountainous landscape. Allow me to indulge in this cliche. It was nothing I had ever seen before. The graphics were insane for me at the time, and the music was hauntingly amazing. I vividly remember my dad walking his gnome back to his corpse, and that music, the death music, it was a complete sense of wonder and awe. Eventually I rolled my own character, who was a ginger dwarf with some ridiculous name I can't even think to remember. So there I was, questing in Coldridge Valley, killing rockjaws and wolves, dying heaps because I knew nothing about luring mobs. And I simply clicked my abilities with my mouse. I was complete garbage, but I loved it. It instilled in me one of the biggest lessons when it came to great game design. Providing difficult, challenging enemies and tasks automatically creates a sense of a much larger world. Unlike retail WoW, Classic made you feel a connection with the zone you were in. Due to the long periods of time you were in zones, you got used to the music, the scenery, and the NPCs as well as their stories. When it was time for me to leave Coldridge Valley, I felt sad that I was leaving my place of origin, but at the same time excited for the adventure ahead. Nowadays in retail, you're rushed through each zone, often out-leveling them before you can even finish the quests. This creates the sense of a claustrophobic world, even though there is more of it now than there was back in Classic. And then there was Ironforge, and then there was Stormwind. My god, were these cities impressive. Majestic statues, pubs, players, and NPCs everywhere. It truly felt like a community, a living and breathing world. A lot of my time with Classic WoW, I spent simply sitting and watching my dad play. I distinctly remember him playing that same gnome from before. At this time, he was a level 44 mage, and his name was Nigel the Wise. He was standing in Booty Bay, and it was right there that I realised how diverse this world was. While my dwarf was sitting in the pub at Karanos drinking an ale, Nigel the Wise was standing on the dock in a little sea town in a jungle. Better yet, you could walk from Dunmorrow to Stranglethorn with absolutely no loading screens. Vanilla came out in 2004, and still to this day, a lot of MMOs can't get this whole seamless world thing with no instances. Even my mum got into WoW when her character reached level 40 or something. That's how addictive it was. Often people complain about how it was such a grind, but from what I know, it was so rewarding. You did those quests, farmed that gold, and leveled those professions because you cared about your character. The leveling experience rewarded you for your time and effort, and that's why it was so enticing. I've heard people say that WoW has become less of an RPG and more of a collection game, and that's such a true statement. Retail WoW is just as grindy, if not more, but it's less rewarding. It's just grinding your mount collection or your reputation through boring world quests. By the way, the same people who complain about vanilla being grindy are the same people who play Apex Legends or Fortnite for 8 hours on end. Which is literally the same bloody game every time you play it, so yeah. There's such a lack of actual role-playing in current WoW. Instead of being a nobody who needs to find his or her own way in the world like you are in Classic, you're made to feel like you're the most important character in the game, and that's such a wrong way to go about it. WoW was designed on the philosophy of social interaction, needing to team up and communicate in order to slowly conquer your way through the world. But now it just seems like a single player only experience, and that's such a shame, because that's not what an MMO is. Being only 5 years old at the time, I remember really struggling with the quests. I couldn't read well at all, and reading quests in Classic was really important, because there were no stupid map icons that showed you where the objective was. I would need to get my dad to help me read and understand them. As I continued playing, I realised I had an addiction of rolling new characters. I didn't understand why, but it brought me excitement. I attempted to roll Horde a few times, but I soon realised I had a soul. I'm just kidding, it was because of the Night Elf women! Woo! I vividly remember seeing someone in Stormwind with a fell steed, or someone with any mount for that matter, and being absolutely amazed. When was the last time you were amazed at seeing a mount in the game? Or epic gear for that matter? I can't believe that Blizzard think that making it easier for you to obtain cool stuff in the game will improve how fun it is. Now look, I'm not going to pretend at the age of 5 and 6 I knew the subtle intricacies of vanilla at that age. Like I was a high-end raider or something. I was really young. But I knew that the game was special. I had a sense of desire. Classic WoW is such an important game. It will decide upon the future of MMOs, whether they will go back into their hardcore and rewarding origins, or stay in the present and die, being mauled to death by a mob of whining babies who want everything given to them. This story is meant to be about the greatness of Classic, and it is, but it's difficult to talk about it without contrasting it to the current state of the game. Classic will show the gaming industry what a true MMORPG looks like, whether it's by being a hardcore full-time raider, or being a casual. Whether you're fighting through the barrens and facing the trade chat, or simply chilling in an inn. You won't just stop and smell the roses with Vanilla WoW. No son! Vanilla WoW will hold your face to the ground and force you to. Let's just say, summer's going to be an absolute blast in Azeroth.